So even at 9:30 at night, there's a lot of assholes out here. I guess the big dog finally passed away. Well, they moved out. They had a young couple from Appalachia that lived here. I think the wife was a teacher. They got out of here in a hot minute. And then this new crew comes in here. 5 cars in the driveway and listening to music loud. Like I said, whoever's renting that house to him, he's gonna regret renting. So I just got quoted $16,000 to do a tub to shower conversion. That's just for one. This is for a 5x7 room. And that's not even the entire bathroom remodel. That's just to change out the tub. $16,000. And the guy said it with a straight face. Oh wait, I can give you a discount. Manufacturer discount. $13,000. I was like, oh, gee, thanks for that small relief. I got a quote from a contractor for about 10 grand. And I'm going with it, but having hiccups here and there. And I find myself going through the same shit that I went through when I had the guys coming in and doing the windows. I called the contractor, or I called the, or I go to the internet. I get about 3 or 4 people to give me quotes. Guy comes out there dragging a suitcase and a thing with samples and a slogan thing and a tablet, and we've been in business for X years. All of our guys are drug screened. What's the thing they always do in their pitches? All of our stuff's made in America. We've been in business for over 10 years. All of our guys are local. You don't get guys who, you know, we screen them. They will only work on your thing. We have a guarantee. Guarantees are always one of the things that come into. And they show you the product, and it's made out of some space age plastic. And they got pre-manufactured. It takes them 4 to 6 weeks to do it. And obviously, this strategy is working because they all do the same thing. There's no variations. Like every once in a while, there's a gimmick. When the dude did the windows, he brings out the heat lamp and he says, "Look, feel that." I call that I call it a gimmick, but it's also sleight of hand, making you think you're getting something for this overpriced prefab shit. We don't use tiles because tiles are or ceramic tiles because ceramic tiles are porous, and they grout mildews. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Don't get me wrong, the product looks really nice, and it's kind of cool that they're going to tear it down to the studs and start over again. But I can't justify paying $16,000. Like, that's almost a quarter of what the house is worth. Just for a bathroom. I was like, the world's lost its goddamn collective mind. When I got my windows done, I think it was between $8,000 and $10,000. The worst quote I got was some guy just, without batting an eye, yeah, $22,000. And they had nerve enough to have the word American in the name of their company. I think it was American Windows or some stupid shit like that. And he came in there, had his nose up in the air. Yeah, we pick up a house and volunteered and show off our stuff and become our showcase, and you might be the lucky ones. And I was like, oh, gee, thanks. We spray foam in the cavities. I was like, okay. This is my first quote from one of those. This is my first quote from one of those companies. This is my first quote from one of those companies, and I'm kind of apprehensive now. I was like, the other ones are going to be more expensive or about the same. I was like, how did they get away with this? And then I was thinking, because I'm looking at the big total price. The suckers that buy this stuff are the people who make the monthly payments. Oh, it's only $200 a month. I was like, yeah, for 10 years. And they're charging you interest on top of that stuff. That's why this stuff works, because they sucker some dude into putting a big down payment or something and making the monthly payments. And people just and what they do is they just tack it on to whatever else they got going on with the house, the mortgage. And then eventually when they sell the house, if they still got payments left on the thing, the person that buys the house picks up all the rest of that. Maybe that's my problem, is I need to just get all this stuff done, then sell the house, and then whoever buys the house, they get all of that. But flippers don't do that. Flippers, they bring in the cheap guy, as long as it looks pretty. It just has to look pretty, it doesn't have to last long. You pay the $200,000 for the house, and by the time they run away 5 years later, you're having to do it right. redoing all that stuff. And someone did cheaply in the first place. Now I understand why people are like buying the houses, you know, knocking them down to the dirt and then just starting over again. Is because in the long run you're going to be paying more for the flipped house anyway. So if you got the money, just have somebody demo it for, I guess they buy the property for $100,000, $200,000. That's really what happens. You try to get the house for $2. There's a lot of assholes out here, man. You buy the house for you buy the house for $200K, demo it for $20K, get it rebuilt for $70K. So you're at $290,000. Not bad for a McMansion. And then you sell it for $350,000 later on, maybe $400,000, whatever long. I mean, you're going to stay in there probably for 10, 20 years. So. And in that time period, with all the stupidity and speculation that's going on, you'll be selling it for $500,000 to $700,000. Like I said, my whole problem is I think of everything in a practical sense. In a practical sense, not a profitable sense. And that's why things puzzle me. Yeah, I'd tell anybody, don't buy a house. If you're trying to make money off it, don't buy a house. If you're just trying to live in it, don't buy a house that's already built. Bottom line is today, days like today are why when someone sits there and tries to tell me how great things are, I can sit there and say I call bullshit. Things aren't great, they're expensive. They're insanely and impractically expensive. Like I said, this is coming from a guy who makes a middle class salary. I got a guy following me. Not being quiet about it. Anyway. Basically, I gotta stop listening to my mom. I was gonna get solar panels earlier this year, and I couldn't justify paying 25 grand for something like that in Texas. And I wasn't gonna get the money back because I don't own the house. Not the money back, but the rebate. And then I go on the internet and there's a bunch of people who are flipping houses. They're the ones posting all the great reviews. They own the house. They put the solar panels up there. They pocket the tax credit. And then they can add $20,000 to $30,000. They got $20,000 to $50,000 to the price of the house. And they get the cheapest fly-by-night company. They come in there and put up like 20 solar panels. They were barely covering half the energy cost of the house. Or the energy, excuse me, the energy requirements of the house. Whoop, somebody's getting frisky. Oh no, girl, you ain't getting away tonight. Booty bandit. Somebody's getting some thorn cock tonight. Yeah, cat foreplay leaves something to be desired. I didn't even know that duck mating was so violent. Like the male duck basically has a penis that is like 8 inches long and growing. Bottom line is they have big penises in comparison. They have big penises relative to their size. And this thing just kind of inflates like a balloon inside of the female's vaginal canal. And so evolution wise, she can close off the valve that contains her ovaries, and then he just kind of and basically she sends them the wrong way. She has 2 canals, and he inflates inside of her, and then he inseminates the dead end. Whereas if it was the guy that she wants, she relaxes her muscles in a certain way, and the male duck penis goes where she wants it to go. Then I found out the male duck penis, I think the whole apparatus just falls off, and then he keeps regrowing new penises. I'm like, huh. I guess that gets my mind off of the breeding dysfunction in the United States for now. It tires me out and it depresses me. I get the not so subtle reminders that everything's going into the toilet. And this is not government interference. This is the free market that's supposed to make everything cheaper. The free market that basically had a bunch of fly-by-night contractors come in there, ruin the reputation of other contractors. And so now they have all of these guarantees and insurance and promises baked in. It becomes gimmicky, and it gives them an excuse to jack up the price. We have a $10,000 backing by this company, by this organization, this independent organization that says if we can't finish it, they have to pay for the $10,000 of stuff to fix it the right way. Dude said if we're ever late, if we're ever late, we'd knock $100 off the cost. And I was like, okay. I was like, whatever, man. That doesn't justify $16,000 for a conversion. A shower. So what are you thinking? You're pinned in. You're trying, like I said, between the overpriced. You're stuck between the overpriced, gimmicky big companies remodeling your house, and the little fly-by-night contractors who, on the low end, who, when it's all said and done, you're sitting there shaking your head and people are telling you, get what you pay for. The Happy Meal is going away. I was prepared to pay $8,000. Got quotes for $10,000. But the guy who's too busy, getting $16,000 quotes from the guys who are too damn big. I got a feeling the people who make a ton of money, they don't pay for this stuff. They don't have the guy come in there and say this, that, and the other. I think they get the fly-by-night guys, or not the fly-by-night guys, but I think they get the they get their own little network of guys. Like, oh, here's the guy who did mine, and he did it for this much, and it was spectacular. And that guy gets locked in. All the guys I'm looking for, the rich people got them. So the rest of us are stuck with the shyster fly-by-night guys and the big companies trying to sell us the big package. Overpriced laminated plastic. I was gonna buy a temporary sink while they do the repairs. Some old temporary sinks that people want between $79 for them, up to $2,000. I was like, what? $2,000 is what the people who do like portable beauty salons. Alright, so now getting emotional. Well, it doesn't look like I might be getting the bathroom remodeled this year. It doesn't look like I'll be getting the bathroom remodeled ever. If I get lucky, I'll stumble across an individual that does the job at a decent price. Feels like we got to do a remodel every 10 to 15 years anyway. I don't even know if I'm going to be alive for another 10 or 15 years. It's another reason why I don't really think I'm going to get any of this stuff done. I'll just keep my 3mm plastic duct taped to the falling tile. Maybe I'll change out the shower head myself. And then I'll just hire a plumber to fix the plumbing. I mean, the clogged drain, I could probably just use those home remedies or some kind of chemical or something. I don't know. Yeah, I've got enough money where you probably just tear the whole fucker down and have somebody rebuild it. That's all I'm gonna save up for. Oh, I want to be living in that neighborhood. We don't have a lot of renters, so we're doing fine. I mean, yeah, the house blew up one down the street, and there's some meth cooking that was going on in other houses. It's always something. There's always something manageable. All that stuff happens like a block and a half away from me. But I'm finding that every country's got something going on that shames it. I had no idea that Canada had such a deep divide when it comes to its minority community. You know, the country's 79% white, and they're doing okay. And then you read about people on the fringes. 14 million people in Canada don't have enough to eat. There are homeless people in Canada. I was like, how is there? I was like, I thought they were all socialist and everything. I was like, well, or I thought they had socialized medicine and a good welfare program. And that's where he's like, well, a lot of the Native American population is living in poverty. Quebec's kind of having a hard time of it. I didn't even know that their program, their medicine program covers doctor visits and whatnot, but it doesn't cover the pharmaceuticals. So medicines, you're on your own, you're paying out of pocket. Now, to be fair, Canadians can get cheaper medicine than we do here in the United States, but even still. And I don't even think about the healthcare costs of a lot of things. It's something that I've been able to avoid taken off my radar. This year, I got employer-provided health care. And then on top of that, I don't use that much anyway. I get my teeth cleaned, checked twice a year. And then I got the contact lenses twice a year. Get my eyes checked out. Other than that, I got a board doctor. I had my shoulder looked at. Thankfully, the guy said, no, you don't need surgery. And he just gave me a shot. And that was it. He's like, yeah, you probably got rotator cuff problems. He's like, your bone's not built the right way. And I was like, okay. But you can live with it. I was like, okay. After he gave me that shot, everything felt great. I haven't had a problem with my shoulder since. Maybe next year I'll have to do the same thing. When it comes to the housing thing, I live with mom and dad. I came really close to buying a condo. Didn't want to pay $400 a month to an HOA. Never could get them to tell me what was going on with that. Now I'm looking at $400 a month as on the low end of the HOA fees for multi-family complexes that you want to buy. And everything's just a fucking gimmick. It just gets on your nerves. See, that's where I go get emotional again. It's just like, come on, man. I didn't want to buy a house way out in Louisville or McKinney or any other place up north or down south, Red Oak and Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville. If I'm going to move all the way out of the country, I might as well get a job out in the country. I might as well just leave DFW altogether. There are nicer country places that are cheaper. Take my ass to Missouri and just disappear. There are places all around this country that you can buy a house dirt cheap. Well, there used to be. The guy was telling me about Missoula, Montana. And I was like, when a house in Missoula, Montana costs the same as a house in Dallas, Texas, that's when I know we've got a problem. And the problem is, and I saw it on a clickbaiting article, they had a little thing there that says trading house or buying and selling houses is as easy as the stock market now, and I said that's the problem right there. The thing that hit the comic book industry back in the 90s is now hitting real estate, and that is all these idiots going in there speculating on real estate thinking that they're gonna Make a nice comfy little retirement account. Rich morons or moderately wealthy morons buying up a bunch of property. To the point where the people who practically live there in the country can't buy houses. Everybody says, that's all right, I'll just rent. And now rents are having the same problem. Landlord's like, oh man, everybody wants to rent. I can charge whatever I want. Like the apartments that I'm getting ready to go buy when I'm coming down Northwest Highway later on. They the floor plans for a one-bedroom on those things are coming in at least $1,700 a month. I can afford it. I looked at it and it says how much rent you can afford with your salary. And I was like, oh, okay. I get a nice apartment. I get a, nice, comfortable little apartment. I don't need a big giant house, or I don't need a lot of space. I think about it every day, every week, man. Just what would it be like just to just walk away? Say, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I can't keep living with you guys here in this crumbling house. I know y'all want to die, die here, but it's looking like it's not gonna happen. And that's the calm, cool, logical, rational reality that I'm facing. Is I'm tearing my hair out trying to keep them comfortable. But I may just have to tell them, look, you're just gonna have to sell this house and move somewhere else. That's what's gonna wind up happening. I can just see it plain as day. 5-10 years from now, if they don't pass away, they're just gonna have to sell the house, get what they can. You see, my parents, they can do that kind of thing. My mom works from home, my dad's retired, but they can just leave the area. My mom's like, I don't want to leave. I was like, well, may not get a choice in the matter. And she even said that to me finally. She says, well, I'm looking at all the stuff you're going through, and I'm thinking we might just have to sell the place. And I was like, we might. We might. I was kind of hoping to hold on to it for the for my sister's kids, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen. And every week we get somebody calling up talking about it. Do you think about selling? And they lowball us every time. Because of where we live. Legal and illegal Hispanic communities that are having some of the same problems we're having. Either they can't afford the upkeep on the house, or they got a ton of folks illegally occupying the house, trying to make it to where they can afford it. Where all these assholes come from? I got one person in the neighborhood. He's illegally illegally fixing cars in his backyard, and you hear the compressor going off late at night. Actually, I got two guys doing that. Basically doing body shop out of their backyards. People building giant temporary shelters out in the backyard and having multiple people stay in there as well as the main house. One part of the neighborhood, I got the guest house is bigger than the main house. And so that whole group of people keep the neighborhood to where the property values go down, and they've been down to like, they're trying to keep these real, they're doing like we're doing, keeping these old houses afloat. But sometimes people cut corners and bad things happen. Where I live, no one's gotten their house broken into, but there's a lot of people who are getting their cars broken into and stolen. I've been fortunate so far. I don't know if it's because I got the lights and the camera, because I notice the people whose houses get broke into, they got the car parked by the curb, or they got it parked up at their house, but the house is dark. So far, they seem to be going after trucks and truck parts. One guy he had, I think it was the Expedition or whatever, they broke the back window out of the car. Took the back seats. And I guess I'm finding out that the idiots over there at Ford or GM or whoever makes those cars, they haven't been making enough of those. Not only that, but it's an accessory feature that people are paying too much money for. And so thieves are going through and taking that opportunity to go in there and steal them out of people's cars. Whereas if the morons who built the car had just made that a standard feature in the first place, people wouldn't be having that problem. And again, just don't buy a big ass SUV. It's just going to be two people riding around in it. Either way, man, there's just a lot of stupidity going around. I guess in summary, it looks like I'm so tired and frustrated with all the greed that's going on. I don't plan on making any big purchases for a while. If I do, the chances are it was an emergency. I think about buying a new car, but I've seen how overpriced they've gotten. Maybe computers have gotten me spoiled. And as I've sitting here built computers are getting cheaper. I used to put computers together for $1,000, $1,500. It wasn't unheard of. You know, a big giant tower, big power supply, the graphics card and everything like that. And now I'm putting them together, little mini PCs, maybe 500, 1,000 bucks. The most expensive thing on it is the monitors. Please, people stop buying 4K monitors. It's a waste of money. It might be time for me to leave Dallas. I know I've been saying that a lot. It might be time to leave the earth in general. I started thinking that way, and it's just, no, you can't think that. And I was like, how can you not? Dead people don't have to fool with all this shit. This isn't a matter of if I just tough it out and roll up my sleeves, I can make it through this. No, this is a matter of if I roll up my sleeves and I tough it out, I'll have to keep toughing it out. This is not going away. This is an endemic problem that requires a major reboot to fix. Plus, I'm getting to the age that I am too tired to be working hard all the time. I'm too tired for everything to be an uphill battle. There has to be relief, and so far there's getting to be the point where there's no relief. Maybe, like I said, all it'll go away if I get an apartment, but I keep hearing stories about rent going up on people. Rent outpatient inflation. Oh my God, all you fucking people, get off the fucking road. This big bag's got the super laser beam light headlights. He won't be satisfied till he can see the road, through the road, like ground penetrating radar. Hey look, dinosaur fossils. It's like, here's the latest LED lights that produce microwave beams. All of a sudden, you ain't got to worry about the deer in the road. He's getting toasted every time you put the high beams on. Did that deer just disintegrate? Yep. You got a death ray for headlights. The reason I get mad is because I got a late start. It's got to be about 10:30 now. So I'm like, what kind of asshole is driving around here at 10:30? On a Tuesday? Are you really going partying 10:30 on a Tuesday? My problem is I keep thinking that everything is. He just had to get the inside lane. I don't know. Basically, the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 world seems to be mostly long gone. It's random now. Anytime, anywhere. I mean, because it is my weekend. I get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's my weekend. And the only reason I'm walking around here at night is because I sleep during the day. So I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe that's why these people are out here. You know, maybe they're getting off of work. And their shift ended around 9 o'clock or 8. I guess there are a bunch of people that work 3 to 10, 12 to 9, because suddenly nobody works 9 to 5 because nobody pays for your lunch hour anymore. It used to be a lunch hour, and now here it's a lunch 30-minute basically. 30 minutes to go out, get you something to eat, come back, and get back to work. And so you got people eating in front of their desks, eating while working. They're looking at a screen, checking their emails, gobbling down the food, not really enjoying it. Yeah, fuck you. Okay, so that answers my question. It's just trash out here. It's just people with nothing fucking better to do than drive nowhere at 10 o'clock at night. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, man, but it's just trash. Oh, I can walk on this thing now. I guess as I'm getting older, I'm getting meaner and nastier. When I was younger, this didn't bug me as much. I would just be dodging traffic. Thinking back to that lady. I see you walking here all the time. Keep up the good work. I was like, ma'am, do you think they can give me sidewalks down here? If I ever stop coming down here, they'll get worried. I don't see that guy anymore. What happened to him? Got tired of being a automobile matador. More trash coming. It's part of the reason why I started going out at 8 o'clock anyway. I used to wake up at like 5 or 6, 4 or 5. I'd wake up at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and I'd go walking around 5. You know, I was a man, macho man. Heat don't get to me. I'd be walking around in the heat, and I did what I had to do. And then the heat got to me as I got older, so I'd walk at 7 o'clock. And I'd walk at 8 o'clock. And now I just kind of sit there in my chair, surfing the internet. And I say, you know, you're supposed to be gone by now. I know. And it just slides over till 9. And each time I've been doing that, I was like 7 o'clock, I was avoiding traffic. Now the traffic is picked up. And here I am at 9 o'clock at night. I could get out here at 10 o'clock at night, and I still have a shit ton of traffic. One time I completely missed my walking day, and so what I did was I got up I didn't go up, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, let me go ahead and walk. I started walking at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was still traffic. I mean, it's not New York bad, where I'd be coming out here right now and I'd be walking between cars because there's a traffic jam at 9 o'clock at night. But it's still annoying. Like that dick back there. So I told the guy to come by at 6:30. He came by at 6:30. And for some reason it has to be a 90-minute presentation. Like, you can't... Sometimes I can just derail the guy. I can say, hey man, I was like, I had 1,000 guys come in here give me pitches. I was like, I've seen all the color swatches. Just tell me how much it's going to be. And one guy said, well, here's the price I'm quoting. Base level. I said, thank you for your time. And I just sent him on his merry way. One guy, he kind of chuckled. He goes, oh, you saw the heat lamp. I was like, yeah, we saw the heat lamp. We saw all of that. Just give me your price. I had Champion, American Window, Windows World, Sears, and you just get so tired of it. The guys come out there and they give their little gimmick thing, and you know, the hardest part for them is just taking all the window measurements. So I said, just go out there and take the windows measurements. So he went and did all the measurements, and he gives me a quote, and I said, all right, thank you. Sears wanted $15,000 without batting an eye. Champion wanted something around the same. American Window, that prick came in there and he just said 22,000. He wasn't even going to move on it. 22,000, and you know what? That's if you come in now, you know, you're getting a good locked-in price. We just happen to have and then there's always like these flash sales. That's with the discount. I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming. You know, in America, there are times that we're polite when we probably should be rude. And I guess in a heavily armed nation, that's a good idea. Sometimes I want to get like Martin Lawrence that used to be in the show Martin. Get the fuck out. Get the stepping. How much? Get out of here. Take. Damn you and the horse that brung you. Just get out of my house. Be gone, Satan. I doubt very seriously that people around here are paying $22,000 for their windows. Or I guess whatever the relative price is. You don't get rich writing checks. That's the old axiom, right? But then again, I keep assuming that all these people are rich. Once again, I gotta remember that other commercial where the guy said, he says, I got this, and he's on the riding mower. I've got 2 cars, I got this. And he says, how do I do it all? He says, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. The people who live in these gigantic houses, they're in debt up to their eyeballs. That's how you do it, man. You get all that stuff done. I know I said it before, but I keep running through it, and that's the only logical conclusion I can come to. Is Windows World will quote them $2,000, and these people don't care. They'll go get it financed. They'll pay the $300 a month to pay off the windows. They'll wait for the house to get to just the right price to be sold. And then when they sell it for that overinflated price, whoever buys the house, they absorb that $22,000 price for windows. It's like, why was the house $2 million? Well, you know, my wife had windows done for 300 grand back then. That's why I see people out here in nice fancy cars, but they're still sorry people. They're still paying for those cars. That's how people can send their kids to fancy schools. See, I'm looking at this logically, like I don't want any debt. And that's the way I'm supposed to do all this. One of the things I can't work through in my head. When did off-key yodeling become music? Like the whole song is just off-key yodeling. Like country music, they would do that every once in a while. The guy, you know, he would do that maybe for a little bit. Like the whole goddamn song is now. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where's the flow? Where's the background hook? You ain't got none of that. It's like you don't get a hook anymore. I'm just gonna spit into the microphone and you're gonna have to go along with it. And I was like, all right. And I think the only reason I suspect that people like this stuff is because they're too busy looking down at their phones to like fully register it. It's lightly distracting music. That's why people like it. Hey, I kind of dig this. I can text to this. Like when they get older, if they ever stop looking at screens, they're gonna be like, man, we liked this back in the day. This sucks. It's like, why did we think this was good music? Kind of the way the boomer generation, when they sobered up, said, why do I have this album? Do some blotter, it'll all make sense in a minute. In fact, one of the songs I heard, it was actually the guy saying, hit me on my cell phone. Hit me on my cell phone, so you ain't gotta. And I was like, maybe they should have told him he doesn't have to put his mouth over the microphone. He can just talk into it. I remember back when I was a Cowboy fan, there was Troy Aikman had a country album. And one of the country guy singers was saying, he says, what do you think? He says, I think Troy should have took his mouthpiece out. It's funny though, but it did sound like he had his mouthpiece in. It was just a funny statement. But Troy Aikman could have been a star today. I mean, as far as a singing star. You do not have to know how to sing. I heard a rapper, I think his name was Whale. Dude sounds like his voice box at any minute he's gonna cough it up. This really hoarse, gravelly thing. He's not even a great rhymer. He just, I don't know where he came from. I listened to a song called Sabotage, and the only reason I liked it was because he had a background singer there named Lloyd. And I've never had a, not never, but it was the one time I wish they had a rap song where it was like you could take the guy who was rapping out of it. Sometimes I wonder if I came out here with a big bag and started putting all the little plastic scrap parts in it, how quickly would the bag fill? How many bags would I need? What I'm seeing is I see hubcaps, or wheel covers, I guess is what you would call them now. I see wheel covers. I don't know what that is. That looks like the sprocket for a wire fence. Inner fender, the plastic inner fenders that are supposed to reduce road noise and keep mud out of the fender in the engine area. There's another hubcap. Oh, excuse me, that is the lid for a 10-gallon bucket. Like I see housing materials, decorative wheel covers, and fender parts. The only thing I can think is that somebody's damaged their fender and it's rubbing. And they don't hear it, they don't care. And then eventually the inner fender just comes off. I guess the music's gotten so bad that when I see somebody putting in a halfway decent effort, I applaud them. Like there was a girl, she got a big girl, came out with a song called Lizzo, blaming it on, it's called Juice. It's like a watered down version of all the stuff that used to come out in the 80s and 90s. And the song tickles me a little bit, it makes me laugh. You know, she's trying to be a body positive big girl. Unfortunately, what I take umbrage with, or what I have a problem with, is it's kind of a false arrogance kind of thing. She has high self-esteem with no accomplishments behind it. And then looking at how big the girl is, it's a pretty safe bet that she's a candidate for high blood pressure and pre-diabetic. I can't remember the name of the singer. Let's just say that Lizzo has the build of the lady from the fat lady from the opera, but she doesn't have the pipes. So she just kind of talks with the thing. Every once in a while, there's a little jingle. Everybody got a something, something, something. I couldn't remember the rest of it. I like that. It's kind of cute. Da 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 da. You know, a little lyrical wordplay. You know, kind of a cool ragged meter, like ragtime poetry, I guess so. But the weird thing about her voice is it has this weird squawk quality to it. It's like if somebody could train a parrot to sing a song, a pop song, this is how they would do it. A parrot could be taught to sing Juice. That'd pay good money to see that. Do parrots sing? I don't know. I think they sing. I can't even walk this area like I used to. It might have something to do with my diet too. Ever since I started keeping myself on permanent caloric restriction, my cardio has gotten a whole lot more challenging. If I ever decided to get the body lift surgery, my waist size will stay 32 inches. I don't think it would drop any more than that. I could be wrong. Maybe I might be in the 20s. Hell, I just have an estimate. I think it would be in the 30s, the low 30s. As it stands right now, I oscillate somewhere between 35 and 40 inches. Like I wear a size 38 pants, and it's got about a 3-inch gap in it. But as soon as I drink water, eat a cookie, or even smell something funny, my body's like an accordion. Ran that red light, yeah, fuck it. Oh man, is that what's wrong with the world? Among other things, yes. I'm gonna gun it at the intersection. Now this is when the crowd of assholes are gonna start coming in. Making turns. Another idiot with his headlight out. Oh, sweet Jesus. Moron without a muffler. I guess they share the space with a deli. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I guess the pizza place is pretty popular. I see the car all around. I see that little car more than I see Pizza Hut or Domino's. Is that a Ford Ranger? The 1994 Ford Ranger. What was I was learning? It was 1999 Ford Ranger. I was like, wait, you're not gonna put the year in Spanish? That was back when I was watching Spanish TV to learn Spanish. And I was watching telenovelas. And you hear the commercials, and I got a little tickle out of the ones where it was like they were just, there's no Spanish equivalent, so it's just say it in English. So they're going to put another overpriced gated community over there. Like I'm amazed that these houses, that these lots are all filled up. That's the thing that gets to me. Is like I'm amazed. I'm like, there can't be that many rich people. I was like, don't underestimate the 1%. But these ain't even the 1%. This is the 10%. What would it be like? I got my $500,000 house in a gated community. Like I wonder if the people in these communities can even relate. A lot of assholes all of a sudden. And it's 11 o'clock at night. Drive safely? Man, you might as well just say smoke crack. People don't know anything about driving safely. Anyway. What would it be like to live in these places? You don't have people working on their cars in the driveway. You don't have somebody picking up their friend honking the horn. You don't have 15 people parked in front of your curb. You don't have people leaving trash on your lawn. Nobody's telling you about their car got broke into or stolen. Nobody's breaking into the houses. Nobody's got a loud dog. Nobody's got their speakers blaring in a raggedy ass car. houses don't blow up in these gated communities. You don't hear private police sirens on a daily basis. You don't hear ambulances on a daily basis. That's 11 things that I can rattle off in my neighborhood that tell me it's time to go. As I'm sitting here, oh, I took that back. We got the kid playing basketball at 11 o'clock at night. No, I think he's pounding something. I was like, okay. They're pounding on the sofa. You know what? Maybe they do know what I go through. Maybe you can't escape that kind of stuff. You got a sorry ass neighbor paying $500,000 for a house. You got a sorry ass neighbor paying $500,000 for a house. But here's where my neighborhood and their neighborhood differs. When I come down here next month, that guy won't be there. Or he won't be there doing that. They will be on his ass. I don't know if anybody in these houses has 15 people staying in the house, but you know what? They're big enough to where 15 people probably could legally stay in the house at least. It's not 15 people crammed into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Or a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. They don't have somebody making illegal additions. They don't have to. What would it be like to live in a gated community? I mean, one thing I didn't mention, because it's a no-brainer, they'll never know what it's like to have a cracked out moron or a drugged out moron walking through the neighborhood, just kind of like terrorizing people. They don't have to deal with people going door to door soliciting. They'll have to deal with Jehovah's Witnesses. But the only thing they deal with and I deal with at the same time is they're going to get the guy coming in there doing a lawn care thing with a blower. I wonder what that was rattling on his car. Sound like it was something in the suspension. Like maybe it's the collar on the strut assembly. I had that come off. It was ringing. That was embarrassing. I was like, I gotta fix this. I was talking to that white boy from Idaho, Alex. Alex knows what it's like to live a rough life. He's got a thick beard, thick hair, although it's balding at the top, just like everyone I look, they're balding. A lot of balding men, apparently. Tattoos just cover his arms. His arms are just like a cacophony of color. And I just kept staring at him. And he was like looking at me, staring at his... I'm trying to look at him in the eye while he's talking to me, but I just keep looking at his arms. He's a big fella, 6'3", 6'5", I think. You know, big country fed white boy. But country fed white boy, center right, political beliefs. As soon as he mentioned Joe Rogan, I was like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm like, I get it. You know, the independent men. He was telling me about living in his car. All the shitty jobs he had to work, and how he's got a back problem. I didn't know he was 40. And they say black don't crack, but this white boy looks like he's still a white boy. So he's doing good, like Grizzly Adams. Not quite as old as Grizzly Adams, but you know, with the beard and everything. But the reason I bring him up is because I hear that car rattling and it just brings back memories of all the trashy cars. I had to drive a lot of bad cars, man. My first car had no transmission. I mean, it had a transmission, but it had a bad transmission. I still don't understand how it quite works, but whenever the transmission got warmed up, the reverse would stop working. Oh man, I could have got in over there. But I had no reverse, and then the D4 on the drive wouldn't engage, so I had to keep it on. I couldn't drive the car over 55 miles an hour. So I constantly kept it in the lower drive gear. I was telling him about driving around with I said I always had to drive around with a water jug in my car. He says, it's funny you mentioned that. He says, man, I was thinking back in the day. He said he bought an engine for his car. The motor was too big for the radiator. And so he was constantly running around putting water in the radiator until he can get a better, change out the radiator. Alright, this will give me an idea who lives in this neighborhood. Well, that's right, get a sniff of evil. How you doing? That's good. Huh. Brother with a capital B. The reason I say brother with a capital B because he's pulling in those capital G's. Pretty good shape. Look kind of like Keenan Ivory Wayans. Circa 1985. No, I was watching Z Nation, and they had Mario Van Peebles on there. looking like Melvin Van Peebles. I was like, what the fuck, man? And then my head started running the calculations. And I was like, what about Solo? I was like, motherfucker, Solo came out 20, 30 years ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Solo came out 20 years ago when Mario Van Peebles was like in his 30s. Mario Van Peebles is an old man now. He's holding up a little bit better than his dad, but he's starting to look like his dad. Like, he aged well. I looked at him and I was like, he had that Frederick Douglass old man air. Like Frederick Douglass, they show pictures of him in his 40s and 50s from the 1800s, and it did look like an old lion. Just, I was like, don't fuck with Frederick Douglass. It won't end well for you. I don't know. It's just the way people look. He looks strong and confident, even though he's pushing 60. I look at all these people in these sci-fi shows and they all got old. I'm looking at Jonathan Frakes. He got a little fatter. He's got circles around his eyes. Wrinkles. His hair wants to go all gray. I'm like, seriously, you got no muffler on a junky ass utility truck. Come on now. What are you? Are you going to Yellow Belly drag racing that thing? Come on, man, I want to race you in my utility truck. I'm like, okay, you want to take the pipes out of there first? No, man, I can haul with this. Oh, man. Drag racing in a pickup truck. I just roll my eyes at that. Anyway. Jonathan Frakes, man, he just, I don't know. He looks like a mountain man. Like that hair wants to go gray, but he's not letting it. Still fighting it. Patrick Stewart looks kind of the same. I saw Will Wheaton. I can't even remember what I saw him in. He was playing a prick. Oh no, it was Dark Matter. He played the villain in that one, and that show's been off the air for like 5 years now. See, like that. That kicks, man. I like that. I mean, I know that they got the same fucking manufactured beat, but then again, hip hop has the same problem. There's the generic hip hop beat that you hear, and you're like, okay. He's listening to that on a motorcycle? I guess so. So I was trying to figure out what kind of people would live in the Aurora Bluffview, and it seems like it's the same people that were living in Sherwood Forest. The name changed. Yeah, they redid some things, but it's gonna be junky just like the other ones. Now I know. I know that in 5 years that's gonna be all run down looking. And maybe that's because I looked at the floor pans and I said, oh, these are all reasonably priced. And that should have gave me a red flag right there. No, Target should be closed. Unless they stay open till 11 now. Maybe you're going faster than you think. He's like, nah. I've been talking the whole time. I know it's been 2 hours. But then again, I'm still on 1 battery, so maybe. When did I pop this battery in yesterday? It was, damn it, when did I pop this thing in? I popped it in. Idiot in the Hummer. Yeah, there's our SUV drag strip racer. like you gonna outrun somebody in a Suburban. Okay. Alright, Chief. Anyway, I think I popped in right around the time I was going to Shorecrest. What do you think of the dog? He's cute. Wonder if it was his dog. His dog or his girlfriend's dog. Oh, it broke my heart. I was watching Bill Burr on Netflix. For some reason he was doing a stand-up special in England. I was like, why? I was like, could he honestly not get booked in America anymore? I'm like, alright, whatever. Maybe it has something to do with the Philadelphia incident. Where he started heckling the crowd. And they started cheering after a while. Because, you know, it's fucking Philly. Or he just said, he's like, I won't do America, man. I don't know. Anyway. He made a revelation in his, toward the end, he was like, yeah, he says, I had to give away my dog. I was like, what? I was like, no. That was like a big source of like 20 brands of his stand-up set. I was talking about that rescue dog. So my girlfriend wanted, he said my girlfriend wanted a dog, so I come in here. He's talking about this big fucking thing. Yeah, me laugh. He said it looked like he's been in jail a few times. He said it had on tank top. It was hitting a punching bag. He got like a big Rottweiler pit bull, it was a big giant aggressive dog. But it wasn't aggressive because of the breed. It was aggressive because of the shit that it had gone through. It was damaged like him. So, he said he got to the point where it was like, he fell in love with the dog. Like he was the one taking care of it. Alright, is he gonna run through it? He's gonna run through it. No, he stopped. There was a shock there. He was making fun of hipsters. He had me laughing. He said the only people that are gonna be talking about sex robots. He said the only people not having sex with sex robots are hipsters. And forgot what the other group was. He's like the AI will be. He said the AI will keep a few humans around. He said in the future it'll just be zoos filled with hipsters. It's a thought that never occurred to me though. That if a major disaster occurs, what if it was hipsters that was the only thing that survived? I was like, oh shit. Hipsters. The reason why I have to pay $300 for a VCR. All I was trying to do was take my porn tapes and convert them to DVD. so that I can rip them to some kind of format I can do. It was a 3-stage process. So I bought this thing from a Japanese company. It ripped the tapes. It would do the tapes and it would put them on DVDs, and the DVDs were perfect quality. Because when I hooked up, I bought the USB converters. And I went from buying the cheap little stick ones to this one that looked like a game console. You plug it in, that thing would light up. Had big monster cables that came out of it. I wound up giving that thing away. Bought it on eBay, used it one time, was pissed off with the results, and then just gave it away. I don't resell shit. I get tired of that. I was like, I just take the loss. So no matter what I did, I always had the problem of, what was it, time domain reflect or whatever they called it, where your videos would get they would start getting wavy because I guess the heads don't read right or whatever, between the digital conversion. So I just broke down, I looked at the AV forums, I said fine. I was like, what's the best thing to do? They said get this kind of VCR. Went on the internet, they wanted I think $200 for it. And I had like 100 tapes. So I said fine. And I just did, that was what I was doing every day, was just ripping VCRs. I took a stack of DVDs and a stack of VHS tapes, and I just started converting all my shit over. And true to its credit, it ripped perfect DVDs. As good as you can get from a VHS tape. And I had a stack of DVDs. And I took all of those. Yeah, it's gonna rain. All these damn cockroaches. So I took all my DVDs and I moved them over to the hard drive. That was the sad thing, as I did all of that, put it on a 2 terabyte hard drive, and it barely took up 1% of the total space. I was like, man, you can get a lot. It didn't take that long to rip DVDs on that thing. It was like, an 8-hour tape still took 8 hours. I had a ton of 8-hour tapes, and they were all filled with like, I never liked to copy like the entire VHS tape. I would just copy scenes. If I liked the scene, I'd fast forward through the thing, and I said, I want this scene. Mark the time spot. This is when I was unemployed. Mark the timestamps on there, and then program the VCR to copy certain timestamps. Copy from here to here. I had it down to a science. I would hit the thing. It would roll through, record this, roll through, record that, roll through, record that, and I was just popping tapes in and out. I'd go to the porn place and I was renting them. You can only they let me rent 3 at a time. Although I got to the point where they knew me very well. So they let me rent like 3 to 5, or 4 to 5. So I'd rent like 5 of them. I would just be copying scenes from them. Sometimes I would just fast forward through the entire tape. That's why I don't feel sorry for the porn industry. I think I've said that 1,000 times. Selling the tape for 40 bucks. Renting the tape for $3.99. Not one good goddamn scene on it. And you were at the whims of whatever director thought he was God's gift to. Like he says, well, they would accept me in California, in LA, but I'm gonna show them why I should direct films. And so it'd be some badly filmed thing of some girl in tacky underwear. One of my things had a she-male in it, and I was like, okay, was like, I'm not gonna knock anybody who likes that kind of stuff. It's just that, you know, you might want to warn a guy when he's fast forwarding through big Brazilian asses and all of a sudden this chick with the dick shows up. And you'd get that on a tape that you'd buy. No warning, just look, you look at it, it's like, oh, back cover, all girls, all 20-year-old girls with big boobs. No mention that, oh, by the way, there's gonna be a chick with a dick. It's like, okay. And the porn industry can't figure out why nobody wants to buy porn. Yeah, VHS tape, I do not miss it. I don't miss trying to track it, I don't miss cleaning the heads. I don't miss the ejection mechanism messing up.